Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Game Arena Summoner Series. I am one of your hosts, Kapika, and I'm joined by Diadem, and you are just in time for the grand finals between Ohio Northern University and UC Pink. A match that was written in the stars, a potential revenge arc for ONU, or a potential perfect run for UC Pink. There is no in between unless they lose one map. But Diadem, what are your thoughts coming into this?
No, I mean, like you said, UC Pink on a perfect run so far through our bracket, right? And really just decisively, right? These games aren't close. UC Pink has just been shredding through people, but ONU came back after a little bit of a fault initially against UC Pink, and it's time for revenge. It's time to get back. You got to get your get back, and it's time right now because bracket is going in. We're going to take a quick look and UC Pink, Ohio Northern is our final match today. You can see we've just had some great matches in general, right? A lot of 2-0s, a lot of 1-0s, not really much of a contention. So hopefully these teams can put up a bit of a fight going into this final match.
Yeah, there have been some games that were close on individual bases, but no series that went the distance like that. And so, Ohio Northern University going to be going for a very typical Vex ban, Skarner ban, just banning out champs that are really, really super busted right now. And I wouldn't be too shocked if they decided to go for Syndra here as well.
The Rel, okay. We've seen a lot of Rel this tournament. I definitely get it. I love it. ONU and UC Pink had a lot of time to think about these bans because they just slammed all three instantly.
Yeah, I think that UC Pink saw their game where they went J4 into Talia, and they're like, "Oh, we're getting rid of J4, easy peasy." And Ohio
Yeah.
Northern probably saw the time where they were, picking Rel pretty much every single game. They're like, "Oh, well, that seems like an easy ban for us as well." And so
Yeah.
Ohio Northern, like the Zach performance last game, they're just going to insta lock it on in. Good pick.
And I like that. ONU had a lot of agency with this character, right? Just kind of bouncing around, flying around. A lot of those team fights, especially, not only just like the presence on the map, but Zach was spacing himself really effectively, being able to get those knockups, those multi-piece, or excuse me, those multi-character knockups. Just shutting down fights. But UC Pink instantly gonna go with the Kaisa. Not only to shut down a pick from ONU, Kaisa being pretty strong with the engage that Zach is, but just being a really safe ADC, especially when you're playing into a super engage heavy. And also the Poppy support early, right? Obviously, pretty big of a flex, but probably going to try and slam this down unless you find something topside and insanely good into the Zach.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing too. Is it and something that I was thinking about for their previous opponents as well? I'm like, oh, we've been seeing a lot of Poppy support or Poppy top. Why not just play it up against the Zach? Clearly, these
Yep.
guys are thinking the same thing as we do see Varus getting put in. Not the most highest of priority ADCs, but definitely one that outranges Kai'Sa. Has a multitude of different builds, one of which being on hit, which we've discussed is the best way to go for ADCs right now, and he has a lot of his own engaged with his R, so you can
Uh,
definitely do quite a lot with him.
I was about to say, with the Rel down, you can look for an enchanter here. I was thinking Renata personally, but Melio also being a bit of a weird pick. I get it though. Main thing is you're just outranging, right? It's what you said earlier. You pick the Varus, you pick the Melio because it gives you a lot of agency in that lane to kind of choke out the Kaisa and the Poppy if it is Poppy support.
Yeah, and we'll see. No, it's actually looking like it's not going to be Poppy support. It could be Poppy jungle or Poppy top at this point. But Senna,
Mhm.
not the first time we're seeing her of this tournament. I would not be too shocked if we saw her going with. Shoot, I've been seeing a couple of builds with her so far. She could be going in Enchanter build, or she could be going the Black Cleaver one, which would not be too bad up against Zach.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes with the rest of the bands.
Definitely has to kind of bank on what your mid laner is going to be, right? Because if your mid laner goes some crazy AP carry, Black Cleaver doesn't really find too much of a use because Kaisa already does a lot of split damage anyways, so you're not
Mhm.
getting that armor shred fully from that. But I do like the flex from Poppy there because it baits out Ohio Northern to have to try and opt into the super range comp, and now you take an enchanter who has a ton of sustain who can keep Kaisa up in this lane, and you instantly have your prio at least back to neutral.
Yep. And it's looking like Ohio Northern is really respecting the fact that they've picked Sandra in a couple of games. They may even be thinking about picking Yone, but Like with the fact that UC Pink would just obviously go for, oh yeah, they're banning Galio here as well. They're probably thinking something like Silas actually, because that's
Yeah.
something that they've played earlier. I think UC Pink, I forget which team played Silas earlier, but it worked out really, really well. And the fact that they banned those characters screams to me that they want to
Orin.
pick someone on a closer range.
Oh, they have to be really careful here about an R5 Nocturne. It might be kind of huge into the sack, genuinely, because you have Varus Melio in the background. You can't cleanse Nocturne Lights, right? Or the near sight that it has. And if you just do ball delivery with Orianna here, you flex the Poppy top if you find an angle for it, and it's still really, really strong. So UC Pink is setting themselves up to be in a really good spot. Gonna go the Akali to try and counter that Orianna, kick her out of lane. It's a bit rough, like early 1 to 3, but once you start getting that sustain from Doran's shield, I really like that lane. And we have to see what Ohio Northern kind of wants to blind top here, or at least play maybe willing into Poppy.
Yeah, I think that that's the likely person out there fighting top is Poppy. And yeah, Akali up against Orianna is not too bad, especially considering the fact that, she does have that sustain, like you said, and eventually we'll just outscale her for damage, just flat on his face. Orin being picked here, it's just it's a good overall pick. It wasn't that bad into Poppy, which is like, you said, a not super easy
Or
matchup, but it looks like it is gonna be Poppy jungle. So Mordekaiser would actually really stink for Orin to fight into just because he
yeah,
has that shred and he can go things that'll slow Orin down. So UC Pink seemingly have baited out Northern Ohio University once again, once with the Poppy pick, and now with twice with the Poppy pick technically. And so now they're getting two good lanes off the back of one great flex pick.
yeah. I mean, that's the greatest thing about picking Poppy, who arguably is the most broken champ in this game.
Mm.
Thanks, Poppy. Thanks, Riot Games.
Nice champ.
Poppy can be slammed pretty much early, and then for the rest of the draft, Ohio Northern is like, is it top? Is it jungle? Is it support? Is it going ADC mid? Like at this point, you can just throw Poppy anywhere. But UC Pink taking that to advantage, going to be able to use that red side as well, get that R5, and take up that counter pick.
Right. So just looking at things in general, I think that they have a winning top lane early. They have well, Akali, I wouldn't say is in like any serious danger with Orianna. Like Ori's damage early on, as long as Akali just isn't like face tanking auto attacks, I think she'll be fine. She'll be able to out sustain the damage. Bot lane, I think that ONU has a little bit of an advantage early on because they've got the range advantage. Zach into Poppy is going to be a little bit hard though.
Yep. I think obviously you get the counter pick in the jungle. I agree with you that ONU has just the stronger bot lane early, especially with the poke and with the damage and the range that you get. But I think what they have to be careful of is Varus is a lot harder to navigate in these team fights, right?
Mm.
Especially when you have the Orianna, you have the Poppy, you are in a mobile carry. So what happens is one CC or one bit of damage, Kaisa is jumping to your backline, right? Kaisa is already back there, and with the burst and blow up that she has, it's a bit rough to play around that. So Ohio Northern can play these lanes pretty strong and pretty confidently, but then when those 4v4 starts to pop up, when those dragon fights start to pop up, they really have to be conscious of where their bot lane's going.
Yeah, especially if that ulting Kaisa has a Oriana ball on her, it could do a little bit
Yep.
of ball delivery like that for the engage. But obviously, you would have preferred to have it on like someone like a Nocturne who you're not like needing to stay alive afterwards. But obviously, it's something you can still do. I wouldn't be
Poppy
too
is
shocked
still
to
a
see
great
you take
target.
that out.
I
Poppy, yeah, that's
genuinely,
true too.
yeah, Poppy just ease in, and then you still have a great target and a great lockdown, especially if you find it on a Kali. A Kali with a Poppy E is disgusting because she just cannot move. So
Yeah, not that he's in this game, but I always love comboing Oriana with Udyr as well, just because he has a speed boost and you can speed boost him too, and it's just like super duper easy stuff like
yeah,
that. But
definitely.
yeah, we'll
Poppy
be
kind of operates the same way with her speed boost, so I'm excited to see how UC Pink wants to operate this.
very, very true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, the grand finals will be beginning between UC Pink and ONU. Stay tuned. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to the end of all things. This is the final game of the entirety of the LAN. Ohio Northern University versus UC Pink. and it is all about to go down now. We do have a little bit of a change in what we thought we were originally going into. Both teams have agreed to, instead of a potential for a bracket reset, we're just going to do a best of 5 right here, right now. But UC Pink will have a free win, so all that UC Pink needs to do is win 2. Ohio Northern will need to win 3.
Yeah, and I mean, running with how UC Pink has been playing today, they're obviously gunning for those last 2 wins. Starting off with this game, pretty simple 5-point coming out from both teams, right? We see just for the full lineups, UC Pink, we have Inferno on that. Inferno on that Mordekaiser, and we've been seeing Inferno pop off a lot in these games. I'm really excited to kind of see he's got the counter pick, he's got the angle that they want to play at, and if this jungle wants to path bottom top.
Yeah, I could go pretty much either way. These comps have a lot that's wide open to them, like going bot or top, trying to get a little bit of vision here on where the pop is starting. She's going to get info in a different way than she was hoping for, but, you know, still getting intel on where the jungler is starting is good.
Being able to trade just a little bit of health there. Not the biggest thing in the world, but obviously now you can time a little bit of the clear, especially, you know, considering how many camps are cleared and how many jungle paths are taken. But now should be a pretty simple early game, right? You know, talking about win cons, especially for both teams, you have a lot of poke coming out of the side of this ONU bot lane, right? We talked about having the range advantage, Varus and the Emilio just doing a lot of on-hit damage, especially early on into Kai'Su. Can't really reach Varus at a lot of points. So we have to see how UC Pink wants to kind of navigate it, as Inferno going to take immediately a good trade here. Gets the passive proc, gets another auto, looking for one more, and that's going to be first blood. We were talking about him showing out, and for grand finals, he showed up. First blood going over to UC Pink.
Yep, now all he has to do is just deliver the wave and back on away. Orin's going to have to burn TP, and Mordekaiser should be able to get on out of here. He's not really at the lowest of health, and he can sustain his way back up if he really needs to, though.
Yeah, once he hits level 3, not only is he going to get the level up health, but he is going to get a bit of that W to be able to trade some damage off.
Dang.
But another good trade in this bot lane. Again, both teams going around this half health, both sustaining up, right? Obviously, Senna gonna have a little bit more sustain than Emilio early game, because not only is that W cooldown for Emilio so heavy, but that Q cooldown for Senna being refreshed with auto attacks is just so huge for her. So hopefully they can survive a little bit longer, going for the W poke, looking for a couple of auto attacks. Not going to be able to find it, but probably just look for a reset at this point.
Yeah, one of the good things about having Senna on your team as well is that the one that's trading with Varus the most is Senna. Kai'Sa's just been able to pretty much just focus on farming, although she has less CS than Varus. Senna is just walking up and just having these trading sessions with Varus, which is giving her stacks and making it so that Varus is having to require Emilio's assistance with the mana a lot more, and he's still at pretty low health compared to Kai'Sa.
Yeah, what makes it interesting about Senna specifically is that when going into this Melio lane, a lot of the times you underestimate how much damage Melio does. I know off stream we were talking about the Melio passive and just kind of the extra burn that you get on that on hit, but Melio can also apply that to himself. So while Senna steps up for that and is trying to trade against this Varus, Melio is just looking for those equal trades, but obviously the sustain just coming out a bit on top for the side of UC Pink.
Yeah, and taking a look back at this mid lane, it's looking like exactly what we were worried about with this Akali is starting to come to fruition. Oh, and just as I'm saying, look mid, look back bot, I'm so sorry. Apparently there's a little bit of a fight going on here, which is not going to be too much. In the meantime, Orin going to be getting knocked down once again. This could start to be a little bit of a problem, especially since a Dark Seal was bought by the Mordekaiser.
Oh yeah. Dark Seal early buy already has some stacks on it, just knowing that he's going to get that crazy AP, which also allows him a quick dive under tower and a flash as well. Kato landing the E on Hamlet and immediately going to find that kill.
Damn, son! Golly, looking nice with it. But yeah, I was starting to get a little bit worried about Orianna, because one of the things I was going to point out when we were originally looking mid was that Akali has still got a very, very decent amount of health, yet Orianna is completely and utterly out of mana. Did not do very good at mana management, and as a result, Akali was able to just out-sustain her and kill her because she was unable to back.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you're looking for a bit of poke in this lane. Knowing that you take the Akali into it, right? Just based on like, drafting, it is a bit Akali flavored because you can't just really you can't deal with her when she's in her shroud, right? Orianna has a very hard time walking up, especially early mana issues, but what's nice about Orianna, especially summon Airy Orianna, is that she can kind of just be useful to the team either way. Her ult always has a great AP ratio, can always use a great like 1 item, 2 item spike. And we're seeing here another trade and Rohan just walking top again. Poppy is making sure this orange just cannot play the game, but just to turn this back around, we have Zac already jumping in, gets the Q, looking for the auto, gonna get the pullback. You don't have the E-pop, you're gonna barrier this Q from Varus, the shred going out, and you won't find anything, but is the pressure off Dragon immediately going to start this back up, knowing that their jungle is probably topside.
Yeah, I think that they're looking to go ahead and get these grubs here because Mordekaiser is definitely going to be just a flat-out winning lane. Orin's not going to be able to do much to stop him from taking this turret. And so Mordekaiser, as much as he's going to be good in team fights, he can also be a good split pusher here as well because who's going to go after him? Orin? Definitely not. Zac? Maybe. Akali? Who knows? Either way, it's going to be a big problem and take away from a lot of what Ohio Northern University is going to be trying to do on the map. And if you send multiple people, that's fine. He still makes it a 1v1 with his ult.
For sure. No. Mordekaiser is just one of those split pushers that you always worry about getting early kills because not only is it just his presence in fight, his presence in fights are just so huge, but also, like you said, that split pushing, being able to turn those into just 1v1s, steal a couple of stats, and then just 1v2, 1v3 is really, really nasty, especially in these competitive settings when you need to group, you need to have these teams together. So that kind of freedom opens up a lot, and it looks like Inferno is enjoying that freedom right now, getting another wave shove under, Rohan jumping back in, and that's another dive. And we see in the mid lane as well, it looks like a solo kill coming out too for Orianna, trading 1-for-1 there on that side, being able to at least pick up a kill back to Akali, but overall losing out on the map.
Akali's got 2 kills, so I think that they actually just straight up traded. But in the bot lane, it's looking like Zac's going to go for a little bit of getting both of the flashes. Varus going on in, trying to just knock up all the stacks with all of his abilities. Cobblesobber's going to be able to get on easily away. Barriering to make sure he doesn't get taken down from the turret, but yeah, Kai'Sa dead as a doornail, Cobblesobber should be able to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, you had the blow flash there, but the issue is you just get zoned out really, really hard. Senna root was super helpful, but it wasn't enough to save Kai'Sa there. Kai'Sa trying to just rat out that final kill on Emilio, not having enough damage, and that is another successful dive, but this time for ONU.
Yep, and so we're starting to see it be like a tale of 2 solo lanes here. Akali's doing pretty great. She's threatening getting plates, and Poppy is probably going to have to start giving some attention over here. But on the top side, you don't really have to give any attention. It's a lane that wins itself at this point, since he's literally got 3 kills up on this guy, trying to build some MR, Orin, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's already got 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. He's got the Blasting Wand and a lot of AP, and he just does a lot of % health. So yeah, it's looking pretty grim in the top lane. Inferno's just having his way up there.
Orin obviously got secured scaling, especially with the items. And another great thing is the best MR item in the game right now is Hollow Radiance. Most like top laners will tell you that. And it is what he's trying to build here. It's just the MR Sunfire item. It gives you a little bit of wave clear. And I know that obviously going down 3-0 is not exactly what you want in this early game, but you have to know that there is still hope because your team is getting stuff across the map.
Very, very true. And so that is a good thing to point out, is that 3 out of the 4 kills are strictly being held by Mordekaiser, whereas Ohio Northern's gold is going to be a little bit more spread out between the bot lane and the mid lane as well. So that's some good things that they got going for them. As you can see, Varus is ahead by about 600, which is a little bit and Akali is ahead by about 200. So still looking pretty good for the other lanes.
It looks like Poppy finds Orin in this jungle here. Just gonna pop it, got the phase rush. You'll see a lot of damage coming out. Wide, being able to probably just run out of this, but the Poppy ult gonna be huge, and the Flash W to stop Ornn from dashing away. That's gonna be enough. That should be a solo kill to Rohan, but he just steps out of it. There's the call of the Forge God, gonna turn this right back, looking for the auto. The Senna ult as well, gonna save it, but Akali's roaming back up. Yeah, a flash out of Inferno, and that's going to take this one more Q, finds it. Zac jumps back in. Akali might be really dangerous for this. Orianna is a bit slow to the fight. Rohan sitting in the back still. Akali claims one. Zac going to be pushed off. Still have to fight this. You have Orianna over the wall with ult as well. Pulls it in, throws the ball and throws the ult as well. Pops the Zac passive. They're going to try and finish Zac off here. The E not landing for Kato. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade for UC Pink in Ohio Northern's topside blue.
Wow, Orianna showing up exactly when he needs to. A wizard doesn't show up when he's called, but he shows up exactly when he needs to and saves the day quite literally for Mordekaiser. If Akali had gotten the shutdown on him, oh, how disastrous that would have been. And it would have been pretty much the game completely flipped on its head, but instead, now Akali is forced to retreat with her tail between her legs and just go back to bullying the lane bully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good for her, though. Like, being able to pick up a kill there and at least back out. Rohan, really nice flash W with the Poppy to stop the dash, but just not having enough for that last auto attack. And then all the ults coming back through, just not being able to save him. But otherwise, still pretty clean fight. We're seeing a lot of flashes of kind of just playmaking from both of these teams here. Definitely not afraid to match up and fight. I know that was one thing I was a bit worried about, was Ohio Northern kind of going into this game already knowing, hey, you know, we faced these guys before. We're a bit worried about how they want to play this map or how they want to do, but it looks like they're going blow for blow and they are just playing with confidence here. Oh, almost found it.
Yeah, getting a little bit frisky in the jungle there. Cobble Saber being a typical Senna player and walking back in just to see, hey, can I get a little bit of an auto in here? But yeah, he's perfectly safe and fine. Knows Zac's cooldown's pretty good. All of them are going to be back up now, though. Just looking at things overall, there's not really a whole lot going on in the map, so this just gives Akali an opportunity to just keep her level advantage, even roam top. She really wants that shutdown onto Mordekaiser, but that control ward, very well placed earlier by Senna, is going to be spotting them, making Mordekaiser know, hey, I should probably back off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now you're going to be starting to get to the point where obviously first 2 dragons have been taken, all 6 void grubs have been taken, so the next one up is Rift Herald, but it also means that we're going to be seeing a lot more of fighting coming out of these teams, right? This is kind of the point to where if towers haven't been cracked yet, you're going to start lane swapping. You're going to start getting your supports up to the mid lane. We haven't seen many roams come out from our supports, mainly because, right, obviously you're not playing engage anymore. You're playing 2 enchanters. You don't really want to move much. You want to make sure that your lane is secured. So not having to rely on roams for objectives was big for this early game, but now we're going to start seeing these towers start to pop, these rotations start to happen, and I'm excited to see how they want to play this out.
Yeah, we've already seen a couple of rotations, or attempts for rotations for Akali, and so, yeah, I think that's going to be something that we start to see a lot more of, especially with if they ever allow Kai'Sa out from under her turret. They've been doing a really good job of shoving her in, losing a lot of CS because of that. Elio, in the meantime, going to be trying to do a little bit of vision control just for posterity's sake. Maybe get a little bit of a gank going on later, but yeah, Rift Herald is going to be up, so that's going to be the next big thing that these guys are looking for, and they'll have and I think UC Pink's just going to have a big advantage for it because the Mordekaiser's going to be there. Oh, the flank TP.
Hold on,
Akali, bot lane.
Akali coming down to the bot lane. Senna just getting dove on the tower, but not going to be able to find anything. They don't have the wave to dive it. They're going to have to back up. A Poppy is there. They might be able to slow fight this, especially if Orianna takes a bit of pressure. Yeah, there they go. They're going to start shoving this in. Poppy going to walk him down now. The poke from Varus being pretty nice. Kato walks up for the first trade against Rohan. Have to be careful playing around these walls here. Obviously, Poppy has a pretty good angle. Both E and Q missing from Milio and Akali.
Yeah, I think both teams are starting to slowly realize that not much is going to really happen here, and so Akali is going to be like, well, I guess I lost my TP, but it's fine. In the meantime, Mordekaiser going to be bullying his opponent into submission, getting first turret as we expected, and this is where the real threat of UC Pink is going to be lying in this match. Mordekaiser getting ahead early. No one can really be in a position to stop him, so they're going to have to get something going here and now.
There's an engage. Zach walks up a little too far, finds into the bush. Gonna have to ult on Kaiser, but doesn't have the damage. Gets rooted down to the side. Poppy looking for it. He's not able to interrupt, but there's the ult back on Tango. Still pulling back. You have to be a bit careful. Here comes Kato coming in the back. Flashes, ults in, gets the auto. The Storm Surge will kill off Kaisa as well. That's a double. Rohan being forced to back up here as well. Wide run with the TP. The late TP from Mordekaiser. That's a lot of damage. The roots coming out. Senna still fighting from the back line. Kato going down, finds it. Cobbles over. One kill again. Pop Perks going down in the passive as well. This might be a kill. Another one going to Inferno, and they might be able to slow fight this, but Inferno is going pretty low. A really nice blast cone, and it looks like Koppel's gonna just try and run out here.
Yep, and should very well be able to with those boots of swiftness over Oren's incomplete boots. So yeah, that was a really great run of play from Ohio Northern University. They realized that, hey, we gotta make something happen sooner rather than later. If we just keep, beating around the bush, avoiding the issue here of the fight, eventually Mord is just gonna be at our nexus if he just keeps 1v1ing Orange. So they took that fight in hopes that they would get something good going their way, make something happen, get some shutdowns, get some gold going. And so that's pretty much exactly what they did. They were able to set the bot lane a little bit back. They were able to get more gold onto their Akali, a little bit more gold onto their Varus as well. And so I think overall that's still a pretty good moment there from them. They forced a lot of their opponents to use summoners as well.
Yep, definitely. No, that's kind of the fight you want to take because Varus is, excuse me, Varus is able to space back. You don't really have much of an engage from the side of UC Pink, and it feels like Hamlet is a little bit split on this Orianna, especially with the targeting. UC can't really decide who they want to ult onto or who they want to burst, and by that time Kai'Sa's usually dead. So immediately jumping over the wall. Wide Room's going to be first to the fight, but Inferno is right there as well. Going to have to just dash back. That is a ton of chip out. Senna going to make sure the team is still alive. And a giant Orianna ult pulls in. The melee ult is not enough to save them. That's two going down for the side of ONU. Akali's able to trade one in the back line. You still have Duke fighting with Pop. Picks off the double kill there. Inferno's still on. And right, I was talking about it. He shows up to the party. Hamlet with the 4K on the ult.
Oh my god, what a well-placed ball. Nobody saw it coming. And I mean, I honestly didn't either. They were so shocked as they just lost all their health bars, could do nothing as UC Pink engaged back onto them and took that dragon away from them like candy from a baby, dude. It's starting to look a little bit grim there for Ohio Northern University. That's one of the fights that they really needed to win off of the goal that they got from the last fight, especially since now Mordekaiser is once again uncontested, pushing towards these split side towers.
Yeah, definitely huge. I mean, it's what we were talking about earlier this game, to where Orianna getting put behind isn't the worst thing in the world because she's still going to be useful, right? She's got her 1-item, 2-item spike, right? She's now got her ult pretty much coming up on cooldown for these fights, right? It's already back up, so you can find these kind of engages in these huge just team fight winning plays just with Orianna ball only.
Yep, and right now it's looking like Akali's going to be the one that has to match the side lane up against Mordekaiser. I'm not quite sure how well necessarily that's gonna go for her, just because, like, I don't know. What do you think? You think Akali has a shot against Mordekaiser? Who's in who in this comp is gonna be? No, you don't think so? I don't think so.
Yeah, I really don't think so. Although Akali is very far ahead. Obviously, she initially went to Storm Surge. I think it's a little bit better if you go like Hextech, right? But that's not a good build on Akali right now compared to the Storm Surge one. So it's like, you kind of just go to side lane, and Mordekaiser, if you try to engage off him, he just pops passive, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is that if he ever gets to auto attack you, you're pretty much dead. Especially because you have ult in side lane, you're able to pop that, and I think the worst part about it is that if Akali does go over to match Inferno, she is a lot of their gold lead, right? You have a little bit more of a gold lead split. Oh, it looks like Cobble's getting engaged in here. Zach not going to be able to find the Q target, but the root over the wall coming from Varus in almost a quick one-shot. The W is going to ground down a little bit better. The center ult comes in, saves Rohan, and here's an immediate turn on the blow-up for Melio. And it's a really, really good spacing coming out of the side of UC Pink. Going to turn that engage into 1 kill for them.
What a hammer of justice from Rohan, dude. Oh my goodness, that was looking really grim, like they're about to get 3 for nothing, but instead he hits everybody but Melio, and they managed to get out of there, but they do manage to come on back in here for the Varus, pulling her back into the area, but Kabelsalver still got a little bit of shields going on here. Orin coming in from the side, getting a double knockup, but Kai is not in a good position or cooldown scenario to go back in there for the autos, so it should just be everyone going back to base, but yeah, overall, it's still UC Pink maintaining their status quo. This isn't really helping them too much. And like you said, Akali being forced to sideline up against Mordekaiser, who she's not going to be able to kill, being a snowball champ that needs to be constantly still getting gold, and we want to be fighting up against their squishy carries. This is not the role that you want her to be in.
Definitely not. You just kind of have to sit here in the sideline, make sure that Mordekaiser can't take it, and also the worst feeling ever. You trade out a little bit, you come back, and you see that Mordekaiser just walked into jungle and took a health plant and came back full health. So he's just back again to torture. So always fun being in the sideline with a fed Mordekaiser. But we're gonna have to see how ONU wants to navigate this. Now you have the Rage Blade and the Bork on Varus, which is a really, really big spike for him, right? That stacking attack speed. Just being giant.
Right. Yeah, Varus is starting to get to the point in this game where if we get into a fight, he doesn't just get instantaneously blown up. He's going to be able to start really knocking people down. Eventually, he will start to be able to beat down the Mordekaiser here as well, especially if he gets some sort of sustain, like an item that gives him some health back, like Bloodthirster or something like that. He'll probably be able to get the Mordekaiser eventually as well with just that % health damage. Sorry, that on-hit damage.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're going to see them group around mid a little bit here. Obviously, Dragon coming up in 15 seconds here. Going to drop the Rift Herald, try to push off a little bit. Maybe going to be able to crack this turret because you have Zac over the wall, but Inferno is everyone right there. I feel like if Zac tries to engage this, if you don't find like a 3-man knockup, it is dying a little bit. Yeah. They are hovering at TNT, they're walking around. There's the dash, but immediate reaction from Rohan. There's the flash as well with Melio. The center ult coming back out. He's just bouncing around, but he's not going to be able to find anything. Kato is in the backline, one-shots Duke, and they just have to push back. Nobody's there to peel Kato, and the ult misses from Orianna. She's just going to bounce away, but the ground is going to be huge. They're at least going to trade for that, but that is both bot laners dying. It's a bit rough. I mean, you use all your stun on that Zac going there, and there's just nobody to stop Akali with that W. And they're still going to have to fight this Inferno. Going to just have to flash the knock up there, sidestep the Melio Q. They're just being really, really slow about it, right? Remember, Orianna is just not in this fight yet with no ult. You don't have bot laners still to... But your most fed person is still here. If you're looking for an ult, you can still find an ult on Zac here if they want to jump. Orianna's a bit split. They're still sitting on the side. Gets the knockup on Rohan, but they're still walking it down. There's just so much damage. Inferno's puffing out. He gets the pull in, and they steal the dragon as well. Poppy's gonna die for it, but Mordekaiser picks up 1. Gonna pick up 2 off the Zac passive. Orianna takes that kill right there too, and that's going to be a dragon going to the side of UC Pink, finishing out that otherwise a little bit rough team fight.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking that Ohio Northern University was going to be having that one, especially since Akali was able to literally one-shot the Kaisa in the back line. So I don't know. I thought that they would be able to knock down the Mordekaiser. Oh, looks like Akali can actually do something against this Mordekaiser. She's like, yeah, I'd win. Nah, I'd win, basically, when we were talking about that earlier. But
Inferno just greeted it rough. He was like 2/3 half health from that last fight, greeted for that last tower. Was not expecting Kato to just appear out of that bush and one-shot him.
Yeah, and during that dragon fight, I thought that Varus was going to be able to do a little bit more damage, but again, the difficulty of on-hit Varus is that you have to get close enough to hit them. And if he
Yep.
got close enough to hit the Mordekaiser, he would just get whacked with a Q, and that's half his HP down. He gets hit with the knee. That's more of his HP down. He gets autoed. He's basically dead. So I understand it completely why he's not trying to auto him, but it just really stinks the fact that he has to go and get up close to these fed characters like Mordekaiser and Poppy when they can literally still just knock him down.
Yep, definitely. So now we're seeing a bit of the lane swaps we were talking about, right? Bot lane just kind of hovering towards this top side, knowing that Baron's up. They need to take this vision control. You do spot Weed. Gonna just stop his back over the wall, immediately shred back. Don't have to chase it too far, right? Obviously, Zach just kind of hunting in that mid bush. Oh, and speaking of hunting,
hunting for Orianna, looks like.
There's the Orianna. Orianna just backed up. The Call of the Forge got being hit. Gonna have to force the flash. Still gets hit up, but backed off, and that's enough for them to clear this mid wave. But they had no, they have no mid wave.
Wait, yeah, they were just
diving Orianna. Yeah, they got Orianna flash and ult out, but I think now the rest of the teams there, you're not gonna be able to get anything, at least from the mid turret. And I mean, speaking of objectives, next objective's in 2 minutes. You're gonna have flash and ult back up by then, unless ONU wants to force some kind of Baron here.
Yeah, I mean, they could very well do that because it's great timing with the Mordekaiser going bot here as well. Orin's being forced to go down here so that Akali can do her thing top. And he's not going to be able to do anything to stop him. He's slowing him. He's chunking him. He's still got ult if he really needs it, and Wydrum should be pretty dead here. Trying to come in here for a little bit of help as Akali, but it's not going to be in time.
Yeah, and now that Akali's not there, and they saw they pulled two, UC Pink is just free to hit this Baron on top side. Which overall, this is just best case scenario for them. Zach jumping in, gonna find the Senna. Senna flashes back out. Here are the double TPs from both the top, from Kato and the top laner here. Inferno's back in the fight. They get the stun on Zach here. Zach immediately blown up. Kato in a terrible position. You do have Akali movement and you have blast cones. You might be able to get out of this, but the Poppy W is gonna make sure you can't ground it until death. The Zanya's only delaying the inevitable. Hamlet picking up the kill there. Baron picked up for UC, and although the mid turret drops, the pressure is on for Ohio Northern in this game one.
Oh, pressure's definitely on. They thought that they were going to be able to get something going there, but again, this Poppy from Rohan just knocking just so accurately with her arc, managing to get rid of Varus, the one person that you really need to worry about in that scenario for damage, just completely taken out of the fight. These Poppy hammers have been just winning them a lot of these major fights that could be a little bit dicey otherwise. And so now they're just able to free siege down these turrets. They got top wave pushing, they got bot wave pushing. There's a high potential for gain here for UC Pink.
Definitely. And I mean, you're seeing their 4-1-ing, right? You send Inferno in the side lane like he's been doing very successfully. Really nice W as well from Zach. Zach just kind of slowed down. Kaisa doing a lot of damage. The chains coming out from Varus. Gonna shred it with the barrier, and then the shielding as well from Senna is gonna be huge. Just had to pop ult. Still sitting on Kaisa ult, so jumping around the side. The root from Senna is gonna be huge, and the W is gonna finish it off immediately. The flash coming in. Although the Orianna ult misses, it does just enough to zone him off. Kato still in the back line there. All that's left, 3 down for the side of ONU. All that's left is Melio and Akali. Akali still awkwardly sitting in the back, but with this Baron buff, they have to be careful. If they can't end the game, they're gonna sure get close because this inhibitor is dropping. These waves are dropping. You have a stacked Baron push coming in, and I think if you're UC Pink, you're gonna try your luck.
Oh, they're gonna try, and Akali's gonna try and stop them.
Here comes the respawn, the Call of the Forge God, with the bounce back from Poppy. It's gonna be huge. They're free hitting this Nexus, and this Nexus is done. Game 1, UC Pink going up in this Grand Finals, which will put UC Pink 1 game away from claiming this tournament.
Yep, let's remind the audience real quick that this is technically a best of 5, but UC5 is starting with a free win, so all they need is one more win, and they will have our Summoner Series title in their belt once again. I do believe, I feel like production can remind me of this, but I feel like the last time I casted this thing, UC Pink won as well. I could very well be wrong about that, but I feel like I strongly remember UC Pink being a strong performer the last time as well.
Yeah, definitely. UC Pink just coming out really commandingly, and although it wasn't just like a complete win, right? A complete roll. You got to give credit. ONU was playing those fights pretty well, right?
Mhm.
I think a big standout for them obviously was Kato on the Akali. Just being able to find that back line so well, but that Poppy was just disgusting. It's so hard for Zach to even play the game, especially when Poppy is just flying around like that. You got to the point where Kaisa was scaling, and then the biggest part, arguably, I'd say, of their team is you know it, I know it. It was Inferno in the top side with that Mordekaiser. I don't think that that comp really does as well if Mordekaiser is not applying so much pressure to them and pulling so many people off of those fights.
Yeah, literally from the very beginning, just Orin dying within the first 5 minutes, it just set the stage like, oh, so this is how it's going, I guess. But yeah, the fact that he was able to get first turret, constantly forcing people to go bot lane, especially forcing Akali to go bot lane when
Yep.
she's the one that they want to be like one-shotting the carries when she's super duper fed and stuff like that. Because Orin is just so far behind. If he goes down there, it's just more guaranteed deaths, more guaranteed snowballing. So they were like, you know what? Let's sacrifice Akali in hopes that Mordekaiser won't get further ahead. But it just wasn't on solid foundations there. I think so. I think if they did the opposite and they sent Orin down there and just was like, "Sorry, bro, you're on your own," and just let Akali try and pop off, then I feel like that could have been a little bit better. But hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, obviously. So otherwise, I think that's it for me. Honestly, we saw pretty much what they had to offer. We still have more games in this series, right? ONU has a lot of a chance to come back here. So I'm excited to see what corrections they make, especially with draft coming into this next game. But before then, we are going to take a slight break in the booth here, and we will catch you guys at the start of game two.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Game Arena. We are back with the Summoner series for perhaps the final time of the night. UC Pink has won most of the games that they need to in order to shut things down and make themselves the champions of the Game Arena. Once again, for the second Summoner series in a row, I do believe. But we've got one final hurdle for them to do that here at Diadem, and their name is Ohio Northern University, and we'll be picking the bands right now.
Yeah, I mean, UC Pink obviously on a historic run right now. Just kind of checking out, we can see them on cam right now during this draft. Um, really just tearing through this competition, right? Can't really ask for more from these guys, being honest, especially with how strong a lot of their drafts have been and how cohesive they've been playing. So it has been just a golden run through this tournament. But Ohio Northern University on their last legs here, this could be the final death match for them. So they're going to have to pull out all the stops. And notice that they had to ban the Poppy. They dropped the Thresh, which means UC Pink gets their Thresh pick that they have been waiting for all tournament. They have not had a single time to pick this because it's been banned everywhere else. So finally putting the support on something they want to be on and gonna immediately save that B1 pick.
Yeah, that does give Ohio Northern University the opportunity to just pick their bot line right alongside them. They're going to go with a blitz crank, interestingly enough. One of the champions I was not expecting to see this time. But yeah, they can definitely go ahead and pull it off. Hook champ for hook champ, who's going to be hooking better. And going along with that, yeah, not too surprising to see the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn for Ohio Northern University has been spot on for the majority of the night.
Yeah, definitely. It's been just so strong. And I mean, going with the pick, obviously you have some secured CC with Blitzcrank, easy trap setup, easy one-shot combo that you can throw out there. And Thresh getting zoned off a little bit from that, but you have to be careful. This Thresh adds so much more range to UC Pink and adds a lot more aggressiveness, knowing you can play with the Lantern. Jin Thresh being a great combo. You have a lot of CC and a lot of slow coming from Thresh, making that W flourish really easy to hit. And if I had to say, they should pick up maybe jungle here, but Gwen. All right, they're gonna Gwen flex it. Gwen
I
also
love
being a
that.
pick that hasn't been open this whole time, so immediately we're getting two new champions straight out the gate. Three new if you count Blitzcrank on the side of ONU. So I'm excited to see how these drafts play out.
At this stage of the game, Gwen is just one of those champions that there's not really too many good things you can pick into it, to be honest. She just completely obliterates anyone in any role. Her damage is, in my opinion, quite overtuned right now. And so Volibear going into that potentially, it's they got a little bit of a flex pick of their own because Gwen can go jungle on top and Volibear can also go jungle on top. So I like the flex for flex.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like Volibear Slam. It's like, all right, hey, you want to do top jungle? I'll do top jungle. Like I'll throw Volibear and I will track Volibear wherever you go. Right, so you're kind of just guaranteed, a bit of mutual destruction. But Ohio Northern making sure in this second phase you don't see that Mordekaiser again because we know the Mordekaiser was just a pretty big terror for them in that first game.
Yeah, leaving Mord open is like asking to lose the series right here, right now, in my personal opinion. That's basically what it would be. But yeah, they're going to get rid of Camille as well. And the respect ban on the Akali for Kato, I like that as well. Just going and giving us a reminder of just how great Kato was. He was able to one shot the carries quite often when she wasn't being forced to side lane against the Mordekaiser. And if they did revise that part of the strategy, I think Akali could definitely one shot the Gwen, one shot the Jin, or and probably one shot whoever else they pick as well. And so, yeah, with that Akali being banned as well, they can get a little bit of a flex pick in the Greg as well without the Akali counter pick. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, biggest thing is that obviously on red side, you give up a blind pick to take a counter pick, but now being able to slot a flex into that position allows UC Pink to have to just make a gut decision on where they think each thing is going. I really like though UC Pink, especially with their bans, kind of showing that although they did win game one, they have a lot of respect for this ONU team. They aren't running in and just like salty run backing their bans. They adjusted for the Zac, they adjusted for the Akali, still hitting a lot of the meta champs that we know, and it's really set them up because now you have a Galio that can change a lot of damage, especially with Blitzcrank being able to pull. You can react with the Galio ult. It's a little bit more safety for you, and it allows UC Pink to kind of pick a bigger flex. There's the Aatrox, which means we are getting a Guangle game. We have Guangle this game. Let's go.
Yes, we do. And we've got a Galio mid lane, a character that I've mained quite well, not main, but he's been like a strong backup for me for quite a while. So someone that I can commentate on pretty decently. One thing I'm worried about for UC Pink is just their overall range when it comes to things. And Aurora probably going to be going mid up against Galio because Galio is not very fond of people that do percent health damage. Although he is anti mage and Aurora does have to get quite close. It's a little bit of a skill matchup. Aurora, on the one hand, has the percent health damage and a couple of dashes. Galio, on the other hand, has a magic shield, which will block a lot of Aurora's damage, and he can also mess her up with combos and make it very hard for her to trade back into him.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the draft out of UC Pink here. I think Ohio Northern definitely has a lot of AP damage, right, which Galio kind of sits into, but
Mhm.
it also has the issue of engage. Because although you have the Gragas, the Aurora ult, and Volibear, you need to kind of sacrifice your front line to do that a lot because Volibear has to go in with the Q. And we're plugging the Twitch on stream as well. You know what? I respect that, UC Pink. I respect that. I love to see that. But Gragas immediately you have Gragas ult, right? You have Volibear Q running in, or you have to look for Blitzcrank hook. And I think what UC Pink has is a lot of reactive engage because you have the Thresh hook, obviously, but that is a little bit low when it comes to at least like hit potential, but you have a lot of times to okay, Gwen can walk up safely here because we have Lantern. Gwen and Aatrox can walk up together because we have Galio ult, right? Jin can stay very far back and still DPS. There's a lot of angles you can take here for UC Pink's fight and Ohio Northern in these team fights, so it's really going to be dependent on how these laning phases go for both sides.
Yeah, I that's something I was thinking about as well as who is Galio going to go in off of in this comp? Is he going to be like he doesn't really have anyone that he can engage off of or like do the follow up engage for, but he definitely had. I feel like if he's not going to be going in off of a Thresh hook onto Thresh, he's probably going to be going and being a little bit more of like a disengage type comp. Like, oh, my carry's in
Yep.
trouble. I'm going to ult him and they're going to be forced to back off. So that's probably the role that Galio's going to be taking here is instead of follow up engage, more of like disengage and peel. And Aatrox, okay. So yeah, again the issue I have with UC Pink's comp is just the range of it and the engageability of it. whereas they have Caitlyn on the other team who can just auto get away, very mobile, very long range, and they have Volibear who can literally just jump straight on in, Gragas who can throw the bomb, Aurora who has like a million bajillion dashes, and so from a mobility perspective, I like Ohio Northern University, but just in terms of raw damage, I think UC Pink has a little bit of an edge there.
Yeah, I think one thing that UC Pink has going for it, although I agree with you, they are lacking the range, especially in a lot of these team fights, is that Ohio Northern needs to have a lot of resources used in order to actually space UC Pink off, right?
Hmm.
Because the Gragas Bomba is huge. If Volibear is not stunning you, right, Gwen is still alive, you have a lot of frontline damage just kind of running you down. It's more of a target priority issue, and then even in a situation to where, okay, let's not worry about team fighting with target prio where everybody's running at us. Let's try and go for a pick with Blitzcrank. You get a hook. If Galio ults up, Galio just ults, right? You immediately, if you don't have enough damage based off the Caitlyn hit immediately, Galio's going to be right there to knock up. And not only that, but probably just start another engage off rip. So I'm excited to see how UC Pink kind of wants to play these fights. But honestly, I'm just most excited for the Thresh. I know that he's been wanting to pick that all time. It's
True.
been banned literally every game, and with how quick UC Pink locked it for that B1, you know that that's really what they wanted in this spot.
And one more thing I do have to say before we cut it to a break is one thing I feel like UC Pink has going for them is they should know pretty easily who they need to go for in order to kill them. They can just kill the Caitlyn, and that's pretty much the fight won. But for Ohio Northern University, it's not so clear cut because you've got high damage from Jhin, you've got high damage from Gwen, you've got high damage from Aatrox. All three of those characters on their own basis can carry the fights. Where like Aurora, maybe I'd put in that category, but Gragas, Volibear cannot. So just a lot more threats on the UC Pink side, I feel.
And I think for both teams, I'm very confident in saying this is a heel cut game.
Hmm.
Lots
Definitely,
of
but
lots of healing use.
yeah, definitely expect to see some Oblivion Orbs and some Thorn Mills. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing if anyone actually builds heel cut right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. I am Kamika, joined by Diadem, and it looks like we might be seeing a little bit of early game shenanigans, flash for flash, just as the last game started. Diadem, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, we see both the teams now live and locked in, both flashes being blown on the support, so it's about to get hectic. I'm excited.
Yep, and we're getting a little bit of early vision control from the Aatrox, I think, put that one down, which is good. And so, yeah, it's gonna be giving UC Pink a little bit of an idea where their enemy jungler is gonna be pathing, so they can just keep track of it, avoid ganks. It's just a really good advantage that I see them getting quite often.
Yeah, definitely. This vision control is just kind of the mark of these teams that like to play this early game, right? Tracking jungle, especially like a support that's tracking the enemy jungle, makes so much of a difference, especially when you're on these kind of pick supports like Thresh and like Blitzcrank, where you can affect a lot of that game. So I'm excited to see kind of how just they walk around, how they path. And if you've noticed, right, or if you've been in the stream for a minute, I like to say I get excited about things a lot because this time I really am. This is the grand finals. We're seeing these teams at the best of the best, at their peaks, going at it, and feels good.
Yeah.
Oh, and a great pull right there.
This is the painful part of Galio versus Aurora, is just the fact that he doesn't have his shield yet, and she's just able to walk up auto attack and make it so that it's very hard for him to get level 2. And so Kato's doing a really good job of pressuring that. Early level 2 gain from Inferno, looking to run it back just like he did the last half against Wydrum, where he completely obliterated him out of the lane. But we'll see if he can make the repeat on Aatrox without Mordekaiser.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you have a great pick into it. Inferno been getting these counter picks, and best thing is that you're making them useful, right? Hardest part is when you get it, but it looks like bot lane already found a quick hook, and that's gonna be first blood going to Thresh. We missed it for a little bit, but honestly, it happened so quick. I don't blame us because what is going on? The hook throwing to the corner, and Cobble obviously a lot more confident on this pick here.
Oh, definitely. He's looked confident on all of his picks, especially Senna, but this one for sure, we see why it's been banned all these times. The dude just literally goes up and gets first blood as soon as we look away.
Yep. A little bit of a trade in this top side as well. This is just healing for healing. So what I'm wondering, right, obviously we laughed about it as we went into the break, who's gonna buy heal cut, but my question is, I think it will be bought, just who's gonna buy it first? Who's gonna understand that, hey, this lane sucks, I hate you, I'm just gonna buy heal cut early and see how we go?
Probably most likely Cobble. I don't see many other people really going for it as an early item, unless yeah, probably yeah. I really don't see anybody doing it just because like it's just so far away from what their typical build paths are. Like for Aatrox, what's he gonna do? Just stop building what he's building and builds a Chempunk Chainsword? Absolutely not. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I really just it goes on the same point of who's gonna buy it first, but also who applies it. You don't really have much AoE outside of the Galio, and Galio needs to buy like his tanky items first. I think that
Right.
he is a great applier of it when you get to the ultimate, because it does apply a great max. Excuse me, it applies a really great area. But after like you need two items first. You're probably gonna run if I had to guess, you're gonna run the MR Sunfire item first, right? Hollow Radiance, and then you're gonna go into like a Leandries or something with a bit of burn damage. But after that, I think it is free pick on what you want to try and go with.
Yeah, with both these, oh, looks like
Oh,
might be in a little bit of trouble here, Kato, but gonna try and run into pop perks. Galio gonna W so that he can get nice and away from this, and Gwen also going to make sure that she goes unhittable so that she can get away also.
yeah, that is a 2v2, but obviously not really looking to take a fight initially there, knowing that Volibear is really, really early with that drain. Gwen at least needs the back for a couple of items. Picked up a Dark Seal first, so obviously going to be trying to fly around in a couple of these lanes, but top side objective is up. Top and jungle are now synced with their backs. They're approaching back in this mid lane, and we're going to see who takes prio for these first couple objectives.
It's looking like Volibear is gonna be making his way on down here. They got absolutely no vision. Cobblestopper's gonna try and get it now. Oh, he's gonna try and get the knockup. Gets the flash despite that, and so yeah, it's looking like they might be able to get a little bit of a turnaround on these guys. Kai gonna have to start doing a little bit of damage here, but Volibear is gonna be getting forced on away. Gwen's gonna be in the area now as well, so it's gonna be a little bit worrisome if he does decide to go for this. Gwen is pretty far away from 6 though, so Volibear is still in a pretty good state to beat her.
Yeah, and you see, I really like that flash too from Duke. Knowing that Blitzcrank is still like right there, you get the knockup, you're gonna flash behind the minions, don't give Blitzcrank a time to even hit, but immediately the fight in the bot side as well gonna trade. And this time Blitzcrank is gonna end up with that kill. Duke still fighting, gets the root, and there's the flash in as well from Galio, gonna hit in, looking for that last shot. Hamlet's aftershock claims that kill, gonna be able to trade it for the TP. Volibear still on the dragon, but they are gonna go 1-for-1. Bot side with a bit of an objective. Gwen starting up on these Krugs on the top side. Grubs, excuse me.
Yep, dragon for Grubs, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good thing for Gwen to be getting, just because especially she can just smack down towers. Like say she goes for a gank, either top or bot, they get the kill, they can pretty easily force for a first tower if they're within range of getting that. And that'll really help her along with that. But yeah, Galio with that TP really making things a little bit more difficult in the mid lane for when he eventually does come back. He's already getting really close to where he's able to buy his first item, which is Hollowed Radiance, is what he's building right now. He's a little bit behind on the CS, so Aurora should probably be able to get close to her first item off this back, like one more component. No, not going to be completely there yet, but she's going to be able to get at least God, I'm completely bad at math here. Take it away.
No worries. Yeah, so they're already just shoving down to the spot side, right? Obviously, with the TP, you lose a little bit of tempo for that kill. because now you're going to have the Hex Flash come out. Volibear's walking down as well, the knock-up. There's Thresh trying to just hit him around the corner, going to pull him to the side where only Volibear is. Volibear ult coming back out, and Duke in a really bad spot. Although he dodges the Caitlyn Q, he's not going to dodge the auto attacks as Kai picks up another kill. In this bot lane, just getting caught kind of off guard here by the amount of times that Blitzcrank not only is running at him, but Volibear is just showing up in the lane. It seems like right now, there's another.
It seems like right now, Gwen is going to be
ganking Rohan going to pick up one, and I mean, nice thing is, we've been talking about it, right? A big part of this team, obviously pop the ult, there's going to be a solo kill for Inferno on the top side. A big part to this UC Pink team is Rohan, right? We've seen him on carry picks, we've seen him on the Poppy now, but he's back on a carry pick, and he's back with 1 kill in Darkseal, so I'm excited to see how this kind of plays out. Jungle, obviously, taking a bit of prio for the side of UC Pink, and based off our interview, they know that they like to play around it, and they like to take that -1.
Seen that.
Yep, we saw it. You can't escape it, Inferno. You played great, but -1, man. Sorry.
Yep. And so, yeah, things are looking pretty stable around here right now. I think Blitzcrank's just mostly looking to get a little bit of a cheeky play on a Jhin, not realizing that he was on a ward just yet. Oh, the grab though, gonna be the follow-up from Caitlyn, but just pulled away just barely in time before she got the free headshot onto him. Cobblesolver definitely, again, knows what he's doing on the Thresh, managing to keep Jhin out of what could have been a death scenario.
Yo, Tango, that was filthy. What the? I didn't even see the angle that you were pulling at. That's wild. But no, now Kato just kind of hovering around the spot side. They obviously, a big change from what they've been doing is they are focusing a lot more prio on this bot, right? We found that Rohan was kind of out-tempoing this jungle for the side of ONU, especially when it came to just running bot side on repeat. So it looks like with Volibear, you have a bit more prio. You can kind of just sprint down as well into this lane. You have a lot of engage, a lot of secured CC with the Blitzcrank E, and you're going to see, again, right as I mentioned it, he is now coming in for a lane gank. He is not spotted on vision here, so if ONU Tango wants to just kind of flash out of this bush, you could probably look for flash.
He can ult too.
Yeah, true. He just needs a little bit of speed. I think they know something's up. Yeah, he's starting the back, and he goes for the hook. Not going to be able to find it. They're just going to back up. Volibear.
He's going to force it.
Getting a little bit careful. Oh, I think Thresh. Oh, he goes and he flashes the hook, and then he gets the knockup as well. Volibear coming out from the corner, and it's not going to be enough damage. Aurora also diving from the side. The Caitlyn ult comes in. The Galio ult is just not in range fast enough, and now Galio's at a really rough spot where he might get Gove. Gwen still on this top side, gonna just have to pry for these 6 scrubs and get something out of this, but insane from Tango right there, flashing the hook forward to get the E knock up on Thresh before Thresh can get the play off. Really, really nice play.
Yeah, I love the skill expression there from him, just to flash at the perfect time to avoid it, and I feel like that was a little bit of a flex on him and stuff like that, but yeah, I was starting to think like, Volibear was starting to think that, sorry, I wasn't thinking, Volibear was thinking, maybe I'm gonna be here, I've been here just a little bit too long, but then Thresh starts to step up, and he's like, oh, let me stop my back, and then the play just really, really happened, and so, yeah, in the meantime as well, while all that stuff was going on, Gwen was able to get 6 Void Grubs, which is pretty good. If she does decide to go for this invade into a play topside, they could get a lot of plays. That might be honestly what they expect to do because Dragon's up.
Yeah, so ONU obviously off to a better start here, but here comes the dive on this top side. Rohan popping the ult, gonna be able to take target prio as well. Just staying within this tower and just so much shred. Inferno getting the level up from the Triumph proc, just saving him from that tower. That's gonna be a successful dive for UC Pink, and a lot of tower plating going to this Gwen and this Aatrox.
That's probably gonna be first turret, honestly, dude. Volibear is gonna be nowhere near. He's on the Dragon, and they know it absolutely truly now, so they're just gonna take that whole thing, and that's honestly a worthwhile gold transaction for the Dragon.
Yep, but I think obviously you have a big lead in the bot side. Galio already charging up that W, just gonna be able to taunt under tower, take a couple of shots, be out here safe. But what I was saying was UC Pink last game kind of had a lead in the top side, right? And then a bit better of a lead in the bot side. Ohio Northern been playing extremely strong, playing their hand, kind of showing that, hey, we're going to get our bot side ahead and we're going to roll through them with this Caitlyn. But UC Pink kind of has the issue of, okay, Gwen is 2-0, and a great hook over the wall as well, going into the bounce house that is Aatrox. Gonna force Aurora to flash over the wall. Here comes the TP in, the ult coming from Volibear to disengage. Aurora ults as well, just to bounce out from the side, but it looks like Volibear might pay for the sins of Ohio Northern. He goes down. Jin ult hits to the side. Looks like Thresh stepped up a little bit too far. The Ignite on Aurora still proccing. The Q gonna find it at the very, very end there. Hamlet finds that kill. And now, only one down for the side of UC Pink, but two falling for the side of Ohio Northern with a ton of bot cryo here and a lot of waves hopefully coming their way. It looks like Caitlyn might have stepped up a little bit too far. You have to be really, really careful here. But
look at what this Gwen's doing, bro. This whole time, Gwen's just eating plates.
This is carry jungle. Oh, they stepped up too far in the bot lane, right? So he looked away. They're going to take a shot. Kai's able to pick up one. Maybe looking for the second. Flashes away from Galio, but it's not going to be enough. Volibear is now in the fight, going to shred out. Gwen picks up the turret mid, and now all that's left is Hamlet going for a run, but here comes Rohan from the end. He gets one shot. There's the Thresh Lantern as well. He's going to pop ult just to make sure that Volibear cannot run him down anymore. It's a really nice slow, gonna take the Hex Gate out. And overall, a positive gold trade for UC Pink in the end.
I mean, yeah, they got, like, I think they only missed one out of all of the plates, dude. They were plate maxing in the extreme, but yeah, especially Gwen prioritizing those void grubs on her and then going for that dive top and then making her way mid. It's definitely a good strategy to be doing on Gwen jungle just because you do have that turret taking potential.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so interesting because Aatrox and Gwen took 5 plates top, Gwen took 5 plates mid, and then they took 4 plates bot. Right, so although they did lose out on a couple of the bot fights and the kills are pretty even right now, the gold is definitely not, right? With a 2k gold league going into this, which isn't too much, but earlier in this game is definitely a lot more, as immediately going to take a trade. That's the best part, I think, about this UC Pink comp, is that Aatrox is good into Gragas, right? You can play Aatrox into Gragas, okay, but you can also play Galio. You can pretty much swap your laners. You don't need to match them super well. But Duke getting kind of run down. Gonna force the flash out of Tango there because not having the team. But you can see forcing the hook out almost buffered the Thresh cube and not going to be able to find it. Ult from Gragas disengaging them as this dragon begins to spawn.
Yep. And they also have pretty much free potential to go for this Rift Herald as well. Also, we're just mostly doing a little bit of a cryo fight here, which, that's a rough miss on the ult. And so that's going to be meaning that UC Pink now definitely is in an even better spot to take this with Aurora ult down.
Yep. You have to be careful not getting picked here. Obviously, Kato just backed, doesn't have TP, you're going to have to walk back a little bit slow. You see Gwen on this top side as well. You take the Hex Gate over, and I think it's a bit hard for Volibear because he might just get jumped. I don't think you can fight the Gwen now with her power, and the hook over the wall is going to make sure that doesn't happen. The dash through, Rohan gets the last hit in the jungle, going to take the red buff as well, and now you have the prio. They're going to walk up. You still have the top side, you still have topside turret up, you have Rift Herald up, Inferno is taking prio around this side, Gragas is solo pushing bot, but you have Galio there to catch it, so overall, your map state is great for UC Pink right now.
Yep. The one thing that you would maybe like going your way is you have a dragon or two, and that could change in about 30 seconds as they're about to start setting up. Galio's already bot, holding things up against Gragas. Volibear now back on the map, and yeah, they've got some really good vision, which Tango is trying to deal with, but both teams are looking rearing and ready to go and make this a very, very decisive dragon fight.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, speaking of dragon, the soul is really, really good for both teams, right? We got Hextech. So getting that ability haste, getting that just static shiv slow as well, trying to run down opponents, it's going to be really, really clean for these guys. And you're going to TP in immediately. Yeah, it's UC Pink is not ready to give this dragon away or give the prio away. Galio going to hop in. Duke's still hitting. You have to be careful. Volibear runs really, really far. The flag going to be able to hit. The shield popping off, but not going to be a lot. Galio finds him from the other side, the taunt, and there's the ult as well from Inferno. The flash over the wall, trying to find Gragas in the pit. Rohan picks up that kill, and then the rest of Ohio Northern is going to scramble away from this Hextech Drake.
And with an open and a close of the scissors.
Ooh, great
he is
hook
just
as well,
evaporated.
max range.
Nice counter hook, but that just enables Galio to go back in.
Yep, that's exactly what you're looking for. Rohan finds another one, dashes back into the Aurora ult. Not done yet. Has to just try and play with this wave. Dashes in, almost will have killed the Kato, but might be a bit rough. The flash auto comes in, and it's gonna finish off and lose a lot of those Darksteel stacks. A little bit of an overstep there, kind of overestimating the damage you have.
Yeah, big shutdown there as well, going in the hands of Kato. Not just his first kill of the game, but it's going to be one on the Gwen, who is worth a pretty decent, a pretty penny, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's, and especially last game where they were really looking at Kato to do some good stuff, and we know that he's a really good playmaker, that can give him some of the extra damage that he needs in order to make these ults a little bit more than just, you know, CC.
Yep, and a good hook coming out of Thresh there, but can't really follow up on it. You really have to be careful about the pull. You're at a situation where your team definitely looking for backs, looking for resets, and you're going to be at a disadvantage, at least numbers-wise, coming back onto this map. So this is really where Tango can shine with the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and something I'm just keeping my eye on every once in a while here as well is Kai and how he's starting to scale. He's got his Infinity's Edge, and he's looking to make his way towards the rapid fire cannon here as well, just because there are so many dashes. And oh, something I'm looking at as well is Volibear dying. Gwen is going to be immune. TP coming in. They're going to try and force something here. Doesn't seem like they're all on the same page though, as Wydrum goes in and his teammates are backing up. Dragged right on into the box. Wydrum's getting whacked up.
Inferno. Rohan just chasing down the back line, still trying to look for something. The ult from Aurora as well. The flash coming out from Galio, not going to be able to hit on the tank. Jhin sniping over the wall, gonna find Caitlyn as well. Force shot not going to be able to land, but Rohan is making sure to run down. The blast cone just going to save Caitlyn there, but I don't think Rohan's finished. Probably just going to try and take that Hex Gate back out. Overall, another one fight for UC Pink.
Yep, and at a pretty good time here as well. They're going to try and shut down the Caitlyn, and it should be a pretty simple task for them. Wave isn't going to quite be here, and Galio will die in return for it, so it's going to be a little bit worth it. Oh, look at the damage from Kato from that shutdown from Gwen. Now able to one-shot the 80 carry. Definitely got to beware there a little bit more now, Duke, because Kato is starting to get in that territory.
Should have never stepped up, Duke. I'm sorry. Should have known. Should have known you'd gotten one shot by one item, one needlessly large Rod Aurora. But man, a lot of damage coming back out. So gonna swing it a little bit right. Took the 5K lead to 3K now. A couple of shutdowns on your side. So hopefully they can still use this lead. But the biggest thing they're worried about is Rohan. Pretty much any side that Rohan is on is gonna be a side that you don't really want to fight. He is just so strong right now, and he's back to max stacks on his Darksteel.
Right, can we get a gold check on Rohan real quick here? I just want to see how much more he has. Oh my god, he's got 10K. It's over 10K.
He's got 10K, 20 minutes.
Dude, no one is even close. That is insane. In a 2-level lead on the poppin' perks, that is a person you do not want to be messing with, my friend. And he's actually going to be going for an invade. No, not an invade, but a play around the back of Gragas so that they can take another turret bot side. And yep, that looks like he's going to go down. Doesn't even need to ult Gwen, as she literally just snips him down with one little Q. And so, yeah, there should be a bot side turret going down soon.
Message time, Rohan? Anybody?
He's done it before on Echo, remember?
Yeah, and there's the hook as well. Palpable being able to land it, going into the root, and it looks like Blitzcrank will be saying goodbye at the very end here. Still not going to finish before pulling Rohan back out of that fight, but it doesn't really matter too much. They're still going to snipe it down. Inferno picks up the second kill. The bot lane and Greg is still dead for the side of Ohio Northern as they run to this Baron to start it back up.
Yep, and Aatrox's just going to look to zone. Honestly, Gwen's getting to the point where she doesn't really need too much help with this thing, dude. It's starting to get a little bit crazy and out of control. That 5K gold lead, most of it's on the Gwen. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Volibear trying to come in here, look for a potential for a cheeky steal, but instead he's just going to find a hook to the back and a gray screen in front of him as Aurora's just like, oh, sorry, dude, can't help you, gonna run away now. And so, yeah, Dragon being gained, Jungler is down as the Dragon's about to pop, and this is just starting to go from better to even more amazing for UC Pink.
Yep. You're seeing just now kind of the danger of this Thresh Jhin, especially in a lot of these choke points. Not only Cobble just putting on a clinic, but those Jhin traps are almost guaranteed hooks for somebody that, you know, plays Thresh like this. So you see this Volibear is just having such a hard time getting in on any of these fights, and also just getting picked out pretty early. So with the second Hex take, Drake's slain for UC Pink, they're gonna take it back, but Inferno just flashed in, getting a little bit silly in the mid lane, I guess. I have no words.
Silly is definitely what I would call that. but yeah, definitely just trying to weather the storm a little bit. Ohio Northern, they are going to be getting Thresh hooked yet again, but Aurora going to be going in for a counter engagement. A Duke barrier up, and in goes Galio trying to save the day just a little bit. Curtain call going on in, and that should be a very, very dead Aurora. And following up with a great hook onto the Gragas. He might be dead as a doornail here as well, but he's at least going to try and damn well take one with him, but he's not even going to get that. And Jin's going to be chasing him down, dashes into the wall, and Jin will finish with a bounce nade. And oh my god, what an amazing fight from UC Pink. Literally got everything for free there.
Yeah, and I mean Pop Perks just taking the Wolves, trying to alleviate this pain as they shove down mid. Just anything to take the anything to take the pain away. The name is very fitting. As this game is just slowly going on, and UC Pink is just dragging this lead out more and more, hitting 10K.
Yeah, something that we've pointed out about UC Pink in the past is that these guys, even though they are very clearly in the lead, they don't really throw very much. They don't overplay their hands. They're very careful players. They're just like, all right, let's not just try and 1v5, 1v9, whatever you want to call it. Let's still just play as a team. Let's just push these waves. Let's take these turrets methodically, just like we're even with them. And I really do respect that.
Have you not learned your lesson, Duke? You shouldn't be walking forward, man. Kato is there. Kato is hunting you right now as almost all of his health is chipped away. Just forced the Baron back, and that's gonna kind of kill the push there. Just sitting in this top side.
Yeah, I mean he's still snowballing his lead. He's going to be having Shadow Flame and all these things. And I think now he's probably just going to be going for straight death cap. And that's going to put him at, like, what, I think around 700, maybe close to 1,000 AP, which is definitely going to be really, really hard for him to deal with. You can see Ohio Northern, they're starting to get a little bit like, get your head in the game. The dude's clapping his hands together, starting to feel a little bit of the pressure. And in goes Tango, getting himself in the mood to hit a hook, psyching himself up. Can he do it? He grabs the Galio, but the follow-up isn't really there. Now it is. It's a little bit haphazard, though, as Wydrum's just kind of running back and forth, and his teammates just kind of die.
And a huge hook as well from Thresh, just going to follow up on this fight. And that's going to be 3 down. The 4th one coming very soon to Inferno here. The barrier not going to save you. The dash not going to save you. Nothing saves you from this beatdown that is UC Pink's comp as they walk mid with this Baron. A bit ended now. Obviously don't have the buff anymore, but just going to proxy this wave out. You should be able to take this tier 3.
Tier 3 and inhib at the very minimum. They may even feel confident enough. Honestly, with the Gwen ult coming back up very soon to just go for it, but yeah, Aatrox, he doesn't have TP, so they might not. Yeah, it looks like they're not. Again, these guys, they probably could try to force it and possibly win it, but they're just being careful enough to where they're like, you know what, let's not just do anything that we would throw. We only take scenarios where we're absolutely just going to smash our opponents. There's something good to be said about that.
Definitely no, and I mean, we're seeing backs going off here, right? Baron in a minute 40, but I think that this objective will be the last one. You have Soul coming up in Hextech, definitely a fight coming out, and I think Ohio Northern is starting to get a bit desperate, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. It's definitely a desperate scenario. They're down by about double the kills. They've lost an inhib, and their Gragas is only 1 KP, so Yeah, it's looking a little bit rough here for them. They're definitely gonna want to try and get a little bit of a catch out onto one of these guys. But the thing about UC Pink now is they are grouping so well. There's not a single person that's by themselves. None of the carries are by themselves. They're at least they got a 3-2 split, can very easily hold things down. And oh my god, the over the wall hook just to style on him just a little bit more, saying, "This is why you should have banned my Thresh. Give me my respect, and now you're gonna pay the price." Yeah.
Yeah, no. Just walking down, they're gonna try and push this Thresh hook. Not going to be able to land there, but just slowly chipping this tower. Remember, you don't really want to lose anybody here, especially with Soul Point coming up. You just want to make sure this wave is pushed so they can't walk up without you having vision on it. Make sure that you just keep track of where they are. Inferno going to take around the side, but that's just going to be a really, really easy Soul Point over to this UC Pink. Oh. Volley's hitting the dance. Yep, Volley's hitting the emote.
Yeah,
I think Ohio Northern might be a bit broken. I don't think they're taking it.
Right, my jungler's broken. Yeah, I think I think he definitely sees at least the humor of the situation as yeah, they're about to take this Baron and probably just go for the end, maybe just putting their opponents out of their misery. Probably going to be one last big fight in the base, and this might very well be where our Summoner series ends, dude.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for Ohio Northern, this isn't kind of the story of their tournament, right? They came back, especially from the losers bracket, 1 through and 1 out against the rest of those teams. They put up an amazing fight to be here, and they were super competitive in this series, but, oh, and it looks like we have a pause really quick. Bit of a disconnect and reconnect, maybe. See what's going on just to finish out this game, but interesting.
Yeah, they did reconnect, but it looks like they're just having a couple of PC issues there. Give it a little bit. But yeah, just to dissect the game so far, they just I don't know. I feel like the idea from UC Pink has been just very central around their jungler once again, as it has been pretty much their entire time in this tournament, making it so that Rohan pretty much is exactly what he needs. He's got Gwen this time, and so he's going to go for grubs and just tower dive these people on repeat, try and get all these towers, plates, gold lead off of that. It was a really smart move from Rohan. And yeah, that's one of the major reasons why they're just so far ahead, and just the fact that Inferno has just been gapping in the top lane, I guess you could say. Both times he's just been solo carrying it up there. One did come a few times, but like he was already winning by the time he got there, to be fair. And it looks like we are going to be back in here.
I mean, this series is just Rohan not only has had an amazing tournament, but Inferno specifically has been having a great series. The rest of the team also just catching up to it. Looks like a couple of players are taking off their headsets for a little bit just to chill. Our spectator is a little bit bugged, but grabbing the paper might have to plug their own Twitch on the screen as they're winning this game out. But we're just gonna see as they walk back in. I think we might have just achieved a bit more of a pause, as the rest of Ohio Northern University is now just emoting on base. Hey, it's a dance party in the mid lane. What can you say?
Well, I can say that this game is almost over, but it's going to come down to one final fight. Cobblestopper's going to get a little bit caught out, but Poppin' Perks is going to be getting popped instead. Curtain call coming in from Jin, and that might very well be the curtain call of this entire series, as in goes Rohan, trying to get just the final kill onto him, but it's not necessary. It's optional, not required, as they're about to go and take down every single last one of these turrets. And I do believe, my friend Diadem, that we do have our Summoners Series champions once again, 2 sessions back-to-back, and that is UC Pink.
The story of UC Pink going undefeated in this tournament throughout the whole bracket, not dropping a single game, playing definitively, playing confidently, and playing through their strengths is beautiful to see. And to see this tournament end that way, although heartbreaking for Ohio Northern, was definitely a great way to tie this series off.
I think so. They ended off in the same way that they've been playing this entire tournament. Respectful and playing to win and just completely looking better than their opponents. But
It
yeah,
just immediately grabs the Twitch. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You plug it a little bit. I respect. You know what? You won the tournament. I respect that. Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
I get it going.
Yeah, definitely go and check him out. He's a really good player, ladies and gentlemen. He just won the Summoner Series. He's a land champ, so definitely give him some love at that Twitch channel. But yeah, I think next up, all that's really left to say is things to whoever we have our interview with here. Personally, I would love to talk to Rohan here, Diadem, just because, he's been such an instrumental part of this team. Also, wouldn't mind talking to Inferno and getting the lowdown on how to win every single top lane matchup that he seems to find himself in. But yeah, either way, I'm happy to talk to anyone from UC Pink. These guys looked stellar today. They looked and were literally unbeatable. And so, yeah.
Yeah, just playing amazing, right? Having a really, really strong series, and I wish there was more to say about it, honestly. But I am just really happy with how it turned out. I think UC Pink was definitely the favorite team, at least after those first couple of games going into this. And although they weren't like the highest seed, they still were just showing out. So that kind of cohesiveness, that kind of competitive play, is what we like to reward in competitive League of Legends, and it just worked out really, really well today.
Yeah, it did. And yeah, I don't really have very much else to say, Diadem, other than we're just gonna wait for this interview to happen. And thank you so much to Game Arena for having me on once again. It's been a real big blast doing this whole thing. It's been a long day, but it's been a great day. And I
Yep.
hope everyone that's been sticking with us, especially if you've been here since the very beginning, I hope you guys have been enjoying yourself here as well. It's always a great time casting some League of Legends and seeing all the different sometimes wonky picks coming out here like Gwen Jungle, which is not super wonky if you guys have been playing solo queue and whatever recently, but like still to see it in a tournament, it feels a little bit interesting.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'd also like to thank Games Arena. Obviously, brand new to the stream. Kamika has been here before, but this is my very first stream, especially with Games Arena, League of Legends tournaments, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, especially being able to come on stream and just enjoy this tournament, right? Enjoy the competition that we have and the players that we have.
Yeah. And do we know who we are going to be having this interview with, production? Okay, so it looks like we're grabbing somebody right now, but we're going to go to a very quick break. Emphasis on the quick. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss out on this interview from UC Pink. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time. It's going to be a little bit of a quick goodbye, though. Unfortunately, we don't quite have an interview for you, so you'll just have to guess and think about what was going on in the minds of UC Pink, or if you know them, you can ask them yourself. But as for the summer series, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it. It was a blast from both me and Diadem. You can find us both on our links here at Diadem on good old Discord and me at Comica_18 on Twitch. Again, much love to GA and Guffy Fish for having us on here and doing such a great job in production and hosting this amazing event. We'll catch you guys all in the next Summoner Series.